Gray, 1994 is live.
The following announcement has been paid for by the
nOw.
All right, and we should be live. I'm looking at my phone. I am seeing us live, so we should be good to go. I am here today with DKA, who was here last week.
Hey, it's DKA. Don't mind me, I'm eating dinner, so if you hear the munching, it's just mashed potatoes and ham and peas and corn.
Thank you, Bat, for the host. And then we have another special guest here today. We have a wild Tyron. So what we do when we have a new guest onto the podcast, I know you've been on the page before playing games.
Thank you so much for that, man. That's bananas.
But why don't you tell us when you originally got into wrestling? Thank you, Rated, for the host.
Okay. I'm a pretty young boy, so I wasn't around for most of the Attitude Era, unfortunately, which was kind of the golden age of wrestling, if you ask me. But I got into wrestling around the main event of WrestleMania 25 is when I really decided that
Filthy,
start tuning in.
dirty,
And I
disgusting,
believe that was
brutal,
Shawn Michaels'
bottom-feeding trash bag.
I think.
Oh.
I'm sure he doesn't serve me well all the time. But I believe that was Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, and I was kind of hooked ever since that match. And I went back and watched a bit of content, but as far as I can remember, I got into wrestling around WrestleMania 25.
WrestleMania 25. Gosh.
Nice.
Is he better now? Chat was saying you were quiet. I think I fixed you while you were talking. We'll wait.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I was quiet?
Yeah, I turned you down because you were really loud in my ears at first.
Okay.
But
So
I
then
just
I
turned
was
you back
very
up.
loud. Me quiet and the... Okay.
You should be
I'm
good now.
confused.
You should be good. So yeah, so today we're doing things a little bit differently. We are still going to be doing the week in wrestling. Thank you, Lana, for the host. We are still going to do the week in wrestling, but we're also not going to be doing a past review, mainly because we really didn't know if this podcast was going to happen this week after I hurt my back, and I know Trevor is out handling family business. So I came up with kind of just question and answer type things that we're going to go through. I'm going to ask you guys some questions in wrestling as a whole. And then we're going to go ahead and that makes it sound like it's a mafia hit. No, it's not a mafia hit. But yeah, we're going to be doing a question and answer type thing. I want you guys in chat to be involved as well. Feel free to answer these questions.
Trevor is creating chaos. That's what he's doing.
It's creating chaos. I like it. So yeah, let's just start out with this week in wrestling. Did you guys watch any wrestling this week?
I watched everything except Impact as usual.
Okay. All right. Well, we're not going to talk about Impact besides towards the end of our show tonight. We should have the result of Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann. That is a title for title match on tonight. Well,
that's tonight?
Yes, that is tonight. Yeah, I mean, they only have about 200,000 people that watch, if that. That's on a good night. So, yeah. But we will have the result of that towards the end of the show to see if Rich Swann becomes new AEW champion, highly doubtful, or if Kenny Omega becomes the Impact World Champion as well as AEW
That would be kind of
champion.
mind-blowing if he had all 3 belts.
Yes. All right, so let's start out with Raw. Do you guys have any initial thoughts on Raw this week?
Honestly, it was been so long since I watched Raw, I don't really remember a whole lot of what happened.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna run through some things that happened. Let me make sure I am on the right date. It would have been April 19th. Is that correct? It is correct. Okay, so. Alright, so we had the. I feel like this is the same show as last week. It's very similar to the show last week. Extremely similar. Okay, so we open up the show basically same way we did last week with the Viking Raiders versus Cedric and Shelton, which we had that ending with the Viking experience and the Viking Raiders getting the win.
That was cut out of the Hulu version again. So,
yeah, so I mean,
I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, this is, and then again another match we had last week. Actually, no, I lied, but it did have some resemblance. This was Randy Orton versus Riddle. And
Didn't Riddle win that one?
Riddle ended up getting the roll-up victory.
Yeah, Redbeard, I was finishing up dinner. I'm done now.
Yeah, I'm really confused as to what they're doing with Riddle and Randy, because they tried to like insinuate that they would team up at some point, and then they just had Riddle beat him with a roll-up. I'm lost.
I'm a big fan of roll-ups, mainly because it doesn't look.
What?
It doesn't make anybody look dumb, as long as it's not completely overused.
It's a way for them to get a win over a bigger name talent that they don't think should lose very often, like Randy Orton.
Exactly.
I don't know about that.
Now, if Riddle had won with his finisher, then like all hell would have broke loose, and they would have been like, "No, it's Randy Orton. He can't lose to Riddle's finisher." That was my low-key Vince impression.
I liked it. After this match, we had Lana and Naomi versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. The grade for this is a D+. I actually didn't see this match, but it doesn't look like it was very good with a D+ rating. After that, we had Elias versus Kofi. Ended up Elias countered a Hurricanrana and hit a flying elbow drop for a clean win over Kofi Kingston.
That's cool that he's been doing that elbow drop more. I like it. I like him doing that elbow drop more.
I do as well,
the drift away, those swinging net breaker moves that everybody's doing, and they're just slightly different from each other. They're all like, you can't even tell the difference between them. So I hate that everybody's doing one of those. The only one that even looks significantly different than the other ones is the Moonlight Drive.
Yeah, and I mean, Elias looks like this day and age's Macho Man Randy Savage.
For
He just
sure.
looks like him. So him using that as a finisher, as a homage, I kind of like it. Yeah, I've been saying that he's very similar to Macho Man for a long time now. After that, we had Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman versus Mace and T-Bar, where Mace and T-Bar got their masks ripped off. So
Yeah.
are they
I'm here
gonna
for it.
keep those names, or are they gonna go to their original names?
Dajakovic and Dio, man.
I guess
I
we'll
hope-
find out.
I'm hoping
I
they
really
go
hope-
to their regular names and they keep their masks off. But they had
Yep.
a graphic when they came out that was just T-Bar and Mace. And I feel like they're not going to make one of those graphics just to throw it away a week later.
Yeah.
Please, no.
Yeah, I mean, I can see them keeping the name. I just wish that they just keep the masks off at this point. I'm hoping with
Yeah,
them
I'm
getting.
thinking that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, they both got them ripped off. There has to be some symbolism there, and just keep the masks off at this point. After
God, those
this,
names are awful.
we had The Miz versus Damian Priest, which Priest got the win. I do like that they're continuing to push Priest, even with Bad Bunny gone. I do enjoy that.
Yeah. This was a good match. And if you really pay attention to Miz matches, you really see that Miz can work, and he's a good wrestler. And you know, he has his dirty tactics, and he plays to the crowd, which is all good things. But I think people still don't notice that he's pretty clean in the ring now. He used to be pretty sloppy, but he's pretty clean in the ring now. He knows what he can do, and he does it well.
And then, let's see. After that, our main event was Asuka versus Charlotte. Charlotte got rolled up by the Empress. And then after the match, Charlotte went on a tirade and obliterated the ref, which she has been fined, I believe, $100,000, and she is suspended indefinitely.
Yep, I've seen that. That's definitely I don't know what they're doing with that either.
I do like her playing it up on social media right now. She is on Twitter showing off Andrade as well,
Yeah.
saying that she doesn't mind if she's suspended because she gets to spend her time with him.
Right, but
so-
is this gonna be one of those things where she's gone until the pay-per-view, and then the pay-per-view match between Ripley and whoever becomes a triple threat? I really hope not.
I mean, I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah. I like
No.
the they're going with this aggression from Charlotte, and I like the idea of her like taking out her aggression on a referee. I wish it had been a female referee. Only because I feel like this whole like men can't hit women, but women can hit men in WWE is super hypocritical.
Yeah, and other companies do intergender matches where they can do whatever. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I mean, if you look at, let's say, Candice LeRae from NXT, she specialized in intergender matches. She used to face men all the time. She got super kicked by the Young Bucks while they were wearing boots with nails on the bottom of it, sliced her face up. But women are badass. They can take the bumps just as well as the guys can.
Yeah, it's a whole like it's a rating thing because the ratings are still kind of gendered in that they think of it as like domestic abuse if a man hits a woman, and so that changes the rating of a show. But if you're gonna say, if you're gonna do this thing where men can't hit women in WWE, then it should be that women also can't hit men.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and it seems like they're trying to not be sexist, but that actually is sexist in that way.
I'd agree with
Yeah,
that.
cause Charlotte beat the shit out of that ref, and everyone's like, "That's badass."
Right?
But
Yeah.
if it had been like Baron Corbin when he hit the fucking end of days on Becky Lynch,
Oh, that was
then
beautiful.
maybe everyone wouldn't have been as excited.
What a pop
Well, we
that
have-
got, though. What a
We have
pop.
female referees now,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
like
and-
Lady
and
Ref
so-
Jeff.
they could have done that with a female ref, Oh, but like, yeah, if Baron Corbin beat up a woman ref after his match, like, oh, all hell would break loose. We never see Baron Corbin on TV again.
For sure.
They'd Muhammad Hassan him.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you kind of got a taste of that with Cass. He unscripted beat the holy hell out of a little person, and he was never seen again. He was cut from the company because of multiple reasons, but that was the most recent when he did get cut. On wrestling, though, imagine the online chatter and publicity through that get twisted if men are hitting women in WWE. Yeah.
Well, even back in the day, the what do you call it? Not the primetime players. Was it Shad Gaspard and JTG? They beat up a male referee on a house show, and it just wasn't planned, and they got like suspended for a long time because of that.
Yeah. I guess we'll see if this. I'm sure that this was staged, and she's just playing onto it. Yeah.
This was definitely a work to put her in the triple threat. I promise you, she's about to end up in a triple threat for a title.
But that ended Raw on Monday night. Another forgettable episode, really. I mean, you had some spots that were good, but others. Hold on one second.
It's always nice to see The Miz, and I really like Rhea Ripley, but there's not a whole lot to get excited about on Raw other than that.
Sorry, my son needed help on the Switch really quick. There you go. When was the last one that was not forgettable? Honestly, the last Raw that I remember that was like really, really good was the Raw before Mania 2 years ago when we had the all-women main event, and then the Monday before WrestleMania, I was there live. I think that's why it elevated a little bit. But there was
I remember that one. It was so good since you were there.
Yeah.
Thank you for being there that night. It made it so much better for us.
So what had happened towards the end of the show was it was Ronda and Becky and Charlotte, and they were having kind of a brawl in the ring that went backstage. The cops got involved. Ronda had her head out the window, got a big boot from Charlotte. Yeah, it was
that was
Very
good episode.
I love the Charlotte Shuffle gif. Have you seen that?
Yes. All right, so moving on to NXT on Tuesday. So for those of you that don't know, I was hospitalized Tuesday morning. So I actually got to watch NXT and AEW in a fairly quiet room on a small TV, all by myself, with doctors interrupting every now and then. But I enjoyed this episode of NXT. It opened up with Cameron Grimes and Kyle O'Reilly, or as people are now calling him, Clementine O'Reilly, because they're saying he's trying to knock off Orange Cassidy with that denim jacket.
Because Orange Cassidy is the only person that's ever worn a jean jacket.
He's the only one that's allowed to anymore. I mean, at this point.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And maybe because I'm in so many wrestling meme chats and group pages on Facebook, that really got overwhelming for me very quickly.
I do enjoy Clementine O'Reilly, though.
Clementine.
That made me laugh.
That's clever. I'll give it that.
Like the minute it happened, the minute he was seen on TV, from the minute he left, there was at least 7,000 memes created, and all of them were calling him Clementine O'Reilly, or like.
Yeah, Gravity
Orange
said he
O'Reilly.
ranted about that on social media, and he did. He basically fed into it and was like, "Oh, so I guess nobody else is allowed to wear jean jackets these days. Anybody notice my shirt though?" And then he pointed out his shirt. Lana, what fancy pants hospital were you in? I was in a garbage hospital that didn't take great care of me, to be honest.
Drop the address of it.
It's the Easton, Maryland hospital. They went a long time without checking up on me on Wednesday. Basically, like 14 hours.
Fight every last doctor in there.
They also didn't give me anything to eat on Tuesday. I got there at 7 a.m. and I was there all day and never got food. Unfortunate. But anyway, yeah. So Kyle O'Reilly ends up punching Cameron Grimes after they say, "DK, you can say it."
To the moon.
And they said it in unison, and right after that, O'Reilly went ahead and punched Cameron Grimes, which led to a match later in the night.
I marked out for that. I totally marked out for that.
I bet you did. So the first match of the night, we had LA Knight versus Dexter Lumis. Winner ended up being LA Knight in this one. This was a pretty good match. I'm enjoying LA Knight. I really like Dexter Lumis. I've liked Dexter Lumis since the rookie showcase they did with Bronson Reed and Isaiah Swerve Scott, all those guys. Just his character is extremely unique, and he's very good at the facial expressions.
Yeah, I like that. Sorry, go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
You know who Dexter Lumis reminds me of? Has anyone ever played this game called Hello Neighbor?
He does.
He reminds me of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
The mustache.
I can see that.
Yeah, well, I like how LA Knight did a variation of that bulldog headlock driver that he's been doing, which I love that move, as his finisher. And I was really surprised that he got over on Dexter Lumis, because Dexter Lumis hasn't really lost a lot. They've made Dexter Lumis look really strong, and so it's nice that I was worried that LA Knight was going to come in and then he was just going to flounder, and so it was nice to see him get the win over Dexter Lumis. I mean, like both of them.
With this match, I don't think this hurts Lumis. I see Lumis still going on to face Johnny Gargano at the next TakeOver, most likely, for the North American Championship, because after this match, Indy Hartwell came out to kind of protect Lumis in a certain word. The fans were chanting "Kiss." Then Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, and Candice LeRae come out to pull her off the apron and carry her away as LeRae and Gargano began can't speak to talk trash to Lumis. I enjoyed this. I do think that Lumis is going to end up getting the next shot at the NXT North American Championship, and I do think he will get that title.
I enjoyed it a lot too. Usually these like forced romances are kind of cringe, but I kind of like this one. And the thing with Dexter Lumis is he doesn't need wins, because his character is not necessarily motivated by wins. And so even if he doesn't win, he doesn't look weak, because I mean, look at the dude, you know. Yeah, but exactly. He's kind of like Bray Wyatt in that he's got this character where wins aren't as important as like the mind games and looking strong.
I might have to disagree with you on that one.
How dare you!
I know, I'm sorry, but Bray
Wyatt
needs his wins, man. He needs his wins.
He needs them now.
Bray Wyatt never wins.
He did not need them before, and as the Fiend, he didn't need them. He
didn't need them when it matters.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really need them in the Wyatt family, even though he still got them. As the Fiend, he needed them in the beginning. But he really didn't need them towards... Yeah, I mean, he needs them more now because of how dominant he was booked and how much of a monster he was booked.
Yeah.
But other than that...
Yeah, well, and a lot of that has to do with that feud he had with Seth Rollins, where Seth Rollins just couldn't do anything to beat him. And that was like... Yeah. They had Bray Wyatt no-selling everything, and I was like, you can't do that, because then he has to do that forever, or he looks weak.
See, look at that.
Thank you, myself, for the host.
The same thing with Omos at WrestleMania. When he stepped in that ring, he was no-selling everything. That is going to end badly.
Yeah, and
that's going to end
between the red lights and Hell in a Cell, that ruined the Fiend for me. I have not liked the Fiend since. They almost ruined two guys in one night.
Yeah,
for that match, and they basically did ruin Seth's title run. With that match,
so I like the Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt. But I'm not a big fan of the Fiend.
Why is that?
Well, like the same reason what Cody said, but honestly, some of these monster characters just don't make sense. And the Fiend, like, I liked him better when he was like the buzzards and the cult following Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
This whole
Yeah,
like I'm a half clown type person, like it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
I
And
mean,
it's
I
like
could
they're
agree with
trying
you.
to redo Undertaker / Kane / Mankind all mixed into one with a little bit
Okay.
of Crazy Steve.
Well, I could agree with you on the buzzard spray being better than the Fiend because I really liked the way he would just like kind of go on and on and on.
Yes.
But it
yes.
would all make sense. That's the thing. And I don't think though that the problem is that the Fiend doesn't make sense. I think the look of the Fiend doesn't make sense. Like
Okay, I can see that.
like yeah, I'm thinking like what else could the Fiend have looked like besides what he does? Like that design came out of nowhere. It looks completely different than the original Wyatt. So I think that's one of the problems with the character. The design makes no sense to me.
It kind of seemed like a couple of like, you know, 2K bros were just putting together some stuff on Create a Wrestler. Like, what would be scary and cool and
I
make-
enjoy,
you know.
I enjoy the way he looks. I mean, it's just he's there to be a demon. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's the
Like, he
demon
doesn't
side
look
of
bad.
Bray. I enjoy it.
The Pee Wee Herman, Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, that dude scares me.
Yes.
Yeah,
That dude scares me. That
Mr.
sweater?
Rogers.
Oh man.
Mr. Rogers.
it was definitely a fashion choice.
But to move on,
Like one minute he's like super nice and come in my playhouse, and then he just starts
then
beating
he
the crap
snaps.
out of like the freaking Ramblin' Rabbit. Oh, poor Ramblin' Rabbit has died more times than Kenny has.
he really has. But moving on, we had a backstage interview with Io Shirai. She was talking about her loss and how she held the title for almost 400 days and her body needs time to rest. She was speaking on how she was going to come back and overcome Gonzalez. And then Frankie Monet's Pomeranian dog appears on the table. So Frankie and Io, it looks like they are going to have a match.
That'll be interesting.
I can't comment too much on Monette because I don't know anything about her.
Mm-hmm.
But random side note, I was playing random lobbies on 2K20, and some person came in the game with her name and a really
Savini.
low quality picture of Frankie Monette, and was like, "I'm the real Frankie Monette, by the way." So Frankie Monette, if you're watching this, you lost fair and square.
Yes, Travis, it was Savini that made the mask. Bray did draw up a somewhat of a design. I listened to this a while ago when he talked about it. He drew up kind of what he wanted, and Savini went ahead and made the mask, and he fell in love with it. He made his own tweaks to it, but it turned out very, very well, and the merch sales are there, so it worked out. So after this interview, we had Breezango versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. Grizzled Young Veterans take the win.
Of course.
Yeah, I didn't see them losing that. I
mean, I don't care that much about Fandango, but I've been a big fan of Tyler Breeze ever since he started at NXT, and I feel like his character worked really well, and they need to. I wish they had done better by him.
Yeah,
I feel like him and Dolph Ziggler would have been an awesome tag team.
I'd agree with that. After this, we had a backstage interview with The Way. And then it gets interrupted by Bronson Reed, who wants another shot. And then Austin Theory steps up to Bronson Reed to talk some trash. And William Regal says that Reed will not get another title shot unless he defeats Austin Theory. They agree on the match, and Gargano is not happy with Theory because of this.
So I'm already seeing dissension in The Way, and I think it's going to be a split with Indy and Theory versus Lil Ray and Gargano.
I would be all
Because
for that.
Indy clearly doesn't like the fact that they're keeping her away from her Romeo and Dexter Loomis. So I think eventually she's gonna get tired of them holding her back from love, and her and Austin Theory are gonna end up versing Lori and Gargano. That's where
Yeah.
I see this going.
I see it slightly different. I think it's gonna be Indy Hartwell and Loomis versus Gargano and Mrs. Gargano. And I think maybe Austin Theory might be caught in the middle of it, or he might be on the side. But I think when the split happens, he might just kind of go off, because I don't really see him and Hartwell pairing, because they really don't have much connection other than they're the lackeys of the Garganos. Gargano Lorays.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do see Dexter Loomis and Indy Hartwell doing more of a team effort there, but that also makes Austin Theory a fifth wing, or a fifth wheel. So I don't really want to see that because I am a big fan of Austin Theory. I'd like to see Austin Theory get pushed to the moon.
To the moon. I
So-
like Austin Theory too.
After that, we had Saray versus Zoe Stark, which was a great match, honestly. And these are two very fresh women talent in this division. Both just recently got signed by WWE or by NXT. I guess I could say WWE as well. But Saray ended up getting the win as Zoe Stark just beat Toni Storm at the last pay-per-view. She does get attacked after the match by Toni Storm.
Yeah, that's gonna be intriguing. I like Zoe. I like Toni Storm. Saray. I'm still waiting to see more from her before I make a judgment, because I'm not seeing anything that really makes her stand out more than any of the other women, that they've been bringing in. So I'll have to see more from her before I can really make a judgment on Saray. But we'll see.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm helping my son again.
So, Ty,
Yeah.
who's your favorite wrestler, Ty?
My favorite wrestler of all time or current?
Of all time.
Definitely would say either between Undertaker or John Cena.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
All right,
Follow-up
I'm
question.
back.
Who's your favorite non-WWE wrestler? We're doing filler while you're helping your son.
Oh, I'm good now. I'm good.
Oh,
All right. Well, I still want to hear this answer for this.
Okay.
What's your favorite non-WWE wrestler?
see, that one's tough because honestly, I don't get around a lot.
You
into
have been getting
outside
into
wrestling.
AEW, so you could pick
Yeah.
somebody there that you
But I
like.
have been getting into AEW, and I could say from AEW, I like Jungle Boy. And,
Ooh, good choice.
Luke
who
Perry's
else?
son.
I like Penta. El Penta.
Mm-hmm.
Zero
Penta.
Guy. Yeah.
Penta El Cero Miedo.
Miedo.
I like him too. Okay, cool.
I just
cool,
did the
cool.
hand signs for that. After this, we had backstage Candice LeRae talking to the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, which looks like we are going to have Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell being the next challengers. Very simple. The next match after that, we had an NXT Cruiserweight Title Open Challenge, which was answered by Oni Lorcan, who ended up taking the loss in a good match, honestly. Kushida ends up getting the victory.
Yeah, that was a really good match. And Oni Lorcan always puts on good matches. I've liked Oni Lorcan for a while too. And I was super excited when him and Danny Burch finally won the tag titles. They had to turn heel to do it, but that's okay.
Yes, Lana, rest in peace, Luke Perry. Jungle Boy is his son, though, and he is a very, very, very good wrestler.
Jack Perry.
Yeah. Jungle Boy Jack Perry, which JR is the only one that calls him that.
Yeah, well, because he didn't want to go by his family name because he didn't want people to treat him differently because he's Luke Perry's
Exactly.
son. But
He didn't want to get a push
JR
because
was
of it.
like, well, if we're going to get more viewers from people who like Beverly Hills 90210, then we should say his name.
Yeah, and
So.
Jungle Boy said he doesn't mind at this point because he made it without it. But At this point, his father is passed away, so him honoring his father, I don't think he minds that at all. After this, we had Everrise versus Imperium. Imperium picks up a pretty easy win here. And then Killian Dane and Drake Maverick come down. Killian Dane has to hold back Drake Maverick to not go attack Imperium.
Yeah, so is this a whole, like, Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf used to be friends thing that's going on there?
Possibly. I could see that. What I did skip was we had another The Way interview backstage. We had
The Way has been everywhere in NXT lately.
We had 6 interviews or 6 segments that involved The Way on this NXT. I don't mind it. I kind of like it. But it was announced that they are going to get a tag team title shot. And for the main event, we had Kyle O'Reilly versus Cameron Grimes. Very, very good match. I am not a big fan of Cameron Grimes. I have explained that. Kyle O'Reilly does pick up the win, the same way he took out Adam Cole, basically, just without the chair.
I get maybe like him not being your favorite wrestler, but if you watch this match, some of the crazy things that Cameron Grimes can do in the ring, like he wrestles, to me he wrestles like Daniel Bryan, only like they have very similar style. They have very similar style and sort of a similar look too.
I mean, I guess I really don't like. I really don't like Cameron Grimes much because, one, I'm not a big fan of his gimmick. Him banking on the cryptocurrency thing, that was pretty funny. I'll give him that. When Dogecoin and everything was happening. But as well, I do not like his finisher. Like I said before, I've told you this before, Finn Balor does it as a regular move. Kofi Kingston does it every single match. I don't know.
That's fair.
Hold on,
That's
what's
fair.
his finisher?
It's the cave-in.
Yeah, it's the cave-in, which basically...
My career wrestler does that move. You run up and stomp on their chest.
Stomp.
Yeah, the mushroom stomp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
But the way he does it looks crazy wicked. And yeah, maybe it's not the best finisher because other people are using it.
Yeah, listen though, to be fair, there are people who had finishers like just the big boot or a DDT.
Well, yeah, I mean, Alexa Bliss, besides her Twisted Bliss, she was doing a DDT. I mean, now she's doing the Sister Abigail, but she originally was doing a standard DDT, and that was her finisher, and she was a dominant women's champion when she had that as a finisher.
John Moxley does the double underhook DDT, but he doesn't even really lock in the double underhook, so to me, that's just a DDT.
Well, now...
And honestly, I liked it better when he did the headlock driver.
In WWE, it was just kind of an underhook DDT. Now, he does pick them up. He gets elevation on it. Which he didn't do in WWE. That's the only real difference.
I've never been a big fan of DDTs as finishers, just because everybody does them for the same reason. But I don't think that necessarily means you have to dislike somebody just because you don't like their finisher.
Yeah, it's more of the gimmick, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like he does this cool tilt-a-whirl like.
I do like the To the Moon. The To the Moon makes me laugh every time.
Yeah, the tilt-a-whirl side slam is pretty cool, but he couldn't do that as a finisher because once he moves up, like if he goes to the main roster and he has to fight bigger dudes, he's probably not gonna be able to do that move to them.
Yeah.
And they probably, it's probably not his decision necessarily that the mushroom stomp is his finisher. They're probably like, we need you to do a finisher that you could do to anybody. Mm-hmm. And you could pretty much do a mushroom stomp to anybody. Now he might have to like jump off the top rope to do it to like Braun Strowman, but
But then that would just be the coup de grace.
Well, not if they're standing.
The standing coup de grace.
So that ended. So that ended NXT. Moving on to the highlight of my Wednesday, we had AEW Dynamite, which kicked off with a very good match between Hangman Adam Page and Ricky Starks. Hangman Adam Page gets the win via submission, which he doesn't do very often. The ending did look a little sloppy because it was a crossface, and he also picked the ankle, and He was kind of just pulling it, but as soon as he grabbed the ankle, Ricky Starks tapped. I think he should have waited like another 1 or 2 seconds to make it actually look impactful.
So I don't dislike Adam Page.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get the hype behind him. His gimmick is dated. He's not particularly big. He's not particularly fast. He's not particularly good at technique. Now, I love that he likes to drink whiskey and beer. I'm totally down for that. But
Yeah.
like, how many cowboy outlaw gimmicks have there been in the past 40 to 50 years?
I mean, there's been a good bit
to the table that's different.
I mean, realistically, he got his start being in with the Elite. So that really pushed him up a little bit, and then him getting out of the Elite, he wasn't an alcoholic until he got kicked out of the Elite. Then he became an alcoholic, drinking whiskey and beer every night.
It would be hilarious if he went to rehab and then changed his gimmick. Like, not in real life, but like on the show. If he went to rehab and then changed his gimmick.
Yeah,
because
I personally like him.
Gimmick.
I personally like him.
Gimmick.
I like the cowboy shit chants. It's much better with fans. He is much better with fans in attendance.
Okay.
I do like his finisher. Not this submission. The submission could be cool at a later time, I guess. But he does the flip over the ropes from the outside. It's like a springboard clothesline with a flip involved.
The buckshot lariat.
Yeah, the buckshot lariat.
That looks like it's murder on his ankles. And
it looks so impactful every time he hits it, though. It looks so hard.
Well, it does look impactful, but it has nothing to do with him doing a front flip over the ropes because he's coming to a stop when he lands, so he's killing any momentum he would have had from the front flip. The only way that front flip would give him momentum for the clothesline is if he connected with it before he hit the ground.
I can see that.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
in physics and logic speaking, if he hits the ground and then he hits you, he lost all the momentum he had from doing that front flip.
Yeah. After this match, we had Taz talking from the announce table over to Adam Page. And Adam Page is basically saying that he's going on to bigger and better things, hopefully an eventual shot at Kenny Omega's AEW World Championship. So, yeah, I mean, they are still pushing Team Taz and everything like that. Even though they lose way more than they win. After this, we had Trent versus Penta El Zero Miedo. So Penta ended up getting this. Penta got this win with a package pile driver. This was a pretty good match. I don't think we needed Alex Abrahantes to grab the microphone and talk trash about Trent's mom, Sue. But that's what we got, and that's how that match ended.
It was funny.
I agree.
It motivated Trent, you know?
Yeah. Sue is a very big part of Trent at this point in his career. After this,
I love the whole van thing and everything.
Oh, that was all great. After this, we had JR sitting down with the Pinnacle. MJF is the only one that said anything, but it was damn good. Then you had Wardlow in the background. He said a few words after giving MJF a new scarf, which was the same exact scarf.
It was silk, though, and
it was
not
silk,
like cotton or whatever it was. But no,
MJF is damn good on the mic. He's so good, and he's basically just promoting Blood and Guts coming up.
Wardlow wasn't too bad on the mic either this time around.
He really wasn't.
He's definitely improving. I think he stumbled a little bit, or he misspoke on something. I don't remember exactly, but I remember thinking, wow, Wardlow's not too bad promo right now. It was pretty good promo by Wardlow.
This was very good. I'm hoping it's not that it was good because it was pre-recorded and they were able to take multiple takes. I'm hoping that he continues this even when they do it live, like the Inner Circle did later that night.
You said doo-doo.
Did I? So after this, we did have a very good AEW Women's Championship match from Hikaru Shida and Tay Conti. I enjoyed this match very, very much.
Tay's getting really good.
Yes, and I thought she was good in NXT. Honestly, I don't know why she got the boot.
She was in NXT.
Yeah, she had the black belt, and yeah.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it the other day with her talking to somebody. I was like, oh yeah, she was in NXT, huh? I forgot about that.
Yeah, I really liked her in NXT. When she got to AEW, she did get injured. She is back now, so hopefully they continue to push her. She did put on a very good match with Shida and looked strong. So hopefully this continues to elevate her. But
yeah, the women's division is starting to get some decent competitors in AEW, and that was probably the weakest part of AEW when it first started out, was the women's division. But
yeah,
it's picking up and it's getting better.
Good. I hope now that they're really picking up the women's division, that they mean they'll also pick up a new damn title, because I'm never gonna let anyone hear the end of how small and cheap that title looks. It's not fair.
I mean, maybe not cheap, but definitely small.
It's small, but it's kind of reminiscent of the old woman's title.
Yeah.
No.
So after this match, after Shida picked up the win, we had Dr. Britt Baker appearing and revealing that she is now the #1 ranked woman in the division, basically staking her claim at the title, which Shida's had it for a long time. Britt's been the woman in the division since AEW started. So I think this is their time that they're going to put Britt Baker over. But we will see.
Yeah, it's awesome, honestly, because at the beginning, like, Nyla Rose was carrying the women's division, and now Nyla Rose has been like nowhere near the the title or main event. But she still looks strong, and I still like her Vixen thing that she's got going on with Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was carrying it when AEW first started out, and now like she's kind of taking a back seat. But it's not like they've forgotten her. They're not shoving her down our throats.
Yeah, absolutely. So after this, we had the Inner Circle responding. This was not a taped promo. This was a live promo in the ring. This was very good as well. Even from Jake Hager. I mean, you can notice his list, but he just walks right by it. And Santana said that the Pinnacle's actions are bitch moves. Chris Jericho went on for a long time, cutting it back to Sammy Guevara every now and then to say things in Spanish, which aren't in Spanish. He just adds L to the front of it. But
why?
I think he said the word strong. He was like, how do you say strong in Spanish? And Sammy Guevara said El Strongo. Yeah, they've been doing that for a while, though, so it is what it is.
It's like one of their inside jokes that goes over a lot of people's heads, and I like those.
Yeah. So the next match was honestly the worst match on the card. We had Billy Gunn, a.k.a. Mr. Ass, versus QT Marshall. It wasn't a terrible match. It was just two old guys going at it. I did like the ending of the match because you had the Factory interrupting, but then you had Billy Gunn's sons, the Gun Club, jump over the barricade and attack the Factory. QT Marshall ended up getting the win.
I've always liked Billy Gunn's in-ring style and moves, but even when he was much younger, he was mostly in tag teams because he didn't really have the stamina for one-on-one matches.
Yeah.
And like they had his one little one-on-one push, and those matches were like awful because he just can't. He needs a tag partner, so that's why he's pretty much been stuck in tag teams his whole life.
Yeah.
So now that he's much older, like he's still good, but yeah, he just doesn't have that gas to be able to do one-on-one matches.
And in the main event, we had Christian Cage facing Powerhouse Hobbs, which I did not know if they were going to have Christian Cage. I figured he would get the win, but I figured it was going to be by roll-up or something like that. No. He beat Powerhouse Hobbs clean with a kill switch. In another very good match, Christian Cage doesn't look like he lost a step, to be honest with you. He's had two matches back, and he looks as good as ever. I love it. And then to end the show, the main event, was a TNT Championship match, which we're seeing that almost every week by Darby Allin at this point. Darby Allin versus Jungle Boy. Darby Allin ended up getting the win.
That was an amazing match.
It was a very good match. The match was ended. We had an altercation after, but I'm blanking.
They kept talking about the TV time limit for that match and how they talked about the other titles go 60 minutes. And I thought they were doing it on purpose because that's the ending we were going to get, is that they were going to run out of time and it was going to be a draw.
Yeah, they've teased that a couple times.
Do.
Yeah, they've
that's
teased
what
that
they
a couple
usually
times.
Do. They're like, well, if we're going to do a time limit draw, we have to remind the audience every 3 seconds that time limit draws are a thing.
Yeah. But that was it from AEW. AEW put on another good show. They broke the 1 million mark again. A little bit down from last week. I believe last week they were at 1.27. This week they were at 1.14. Took a little bit of a hit, but they are still over 1 million and still
It almost makes me want to get cable again just so I could watch it on TNT and not, through the means that I do that may or may not be legal.
Gotcha.
Who cares if it's legal?
So
It's fun.
that ended AEW. Moving on to SmackDown. We're gonna go through this one quick so we can get to some of these Q&As. So let's see. Who will step up to challenge Roman Reigns? We already know now that Cesaro was told that he is never getting a shot against Roman by Roman. But he said, Daniel Bryan, if you beat me, you become champion. If you lose, you will never be on my show ever again, meaning SmackDown. I do not see Daniel Bryan beating Roman Reigns. I can see it looks like either Daniel Bryan's going to do a stint in NXT, which I would love, or he's going to go to Raw, which
great.
is more likely. But I would love NXT.
I prefer him to go to NXT.
Yep.
I prefer him to go to NXT. That'd be great.
The realistic thing that's gonna happen, and it's gonna suck, is it's gonna be a good match, and the DQ will happen that'll cause Daniel Bryan to win. And
Gravity said, when we getting cage versus cage in a cage match. Honestly, so there's 2 cages and there's 2 pages. Ethan Page.
Let's have both the pages in there too.
Yeah,
Page and Page and Cage and Cage.
Brian Cage and Christian Cage against Hangman Page and Ethan Page in a cage. Let's do it.
Cage versus Page in a cage.
I love it.
And
and
cages, man.
They could tape paper to the cage, and it'll be a Page cage.
Oh my god.
Or I could design them paper outfits
and
like I did
the
for me
special
and
referee, Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh god, we are getting into it now. All right, so next up we had Cesaro and Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins and Jey Uso. We had Bryan and Cesaro getting the win. Let's move on from that real quick. We had Tamina versus Nia Jax. Tamina ended up beating Nia Jax. So last week we had Natty beating Shayna. This week we have Tamina beating Jax. That match honestly wasn't that great, to be honest. Online it was given a D. But yeah. But I the women's division in WWE is rough at the moment. Just because they really don't have the tag teams. We had the Intercontinental Championship match between Kevin Owens and Apollo Crews. Crews gets the win over Owens, who Owens, after the match, hit Crews with a stunner, and then he gets attacked by Aziz, and that left Kevin Owens lying. Yeah.
I like the segment before this where Big E was like mad that Owens was getting the match, like it was Owens' fault. And like, what do you want Owens to do? Bruce, I'm sorry that I got a match. That makes no sense. Like, why is Big E mad about that? Like, it's like it was Owens' fault. If anything, he should have been mad at freaking what's his name, Adam Pearce, or someone that pretends
Pub
to.
Howdy, welcome to the doghouse. I like that. Welcome, and who let the dogs out? I think Ty let the dogs out.
Sorry, guys. I didn't know. I thought it was the bathroom.
Where's King at? He'd be like, who let the puppies out?
So next up, to segue from that, we had Aleister Black returning. He had a book. He read from a book
This was cool.
about his dark father. So we're gonna see where that goes. He has been teasing this for about a week now, almost daily on Instagram. Just different
this is
vignettes. It was.
I hope this is the
very
thing
good.
that they stick with and really push him with, because that whole like who's gonna knock on my door and fight me thing was dumb.
Yeah, it
and
was.
the whole
Bro,
like
This
the
was
whole
much
like
better.
Why
weird
does he
like
actually sound like him?
like how many people have worn a eye patch lately, like across all the shows? Like what's with this eye patch thing
Okay,
that they're
but
doing
that
all of a
wasn't
sudden?
an eye patch. It looked like he just stretched out an armband and put it around his head.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
but
pretty bad.
After
I
this,
don't know.
we had Big E and Apollo Crews brawling backstage until refs broke them up. And then we also had Bailey confront Bianca Belair. So it looks like we are going to get that match in the near future.
Okay, but that Bailey is a national treasure.
She is.
Because she really, she really gonna act like she wasn't gonna say something disrespectful, talking about some Bianca. All I have to say is it's gonna be an honor to face you
That
at
is
WrestleMania
loud.
backstage.
Thank you for the host. That was really loud in my ears. That is probably the loudest one I've heard so far. After
one
this,
was
it was the Godzilla one.
I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not digging this Bailey heel turn anymore. Like it was
I love
shocking at first, which was cool, and I kind of feel like this is like what we would have got if John Cena had turned heel. We would have been all excited he finally turned heel, and then it would have been obnoxious and weird, and we would have been like, okay, this sucks now.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no, I can't agree with you on that one.
Like careful what
I
you wish
love-
for type thing.
I love heel Bailey now, but when she first turned heel, she was very, very uncomfortable and very much bad at promos. But now she's really coming to her own, and I like
Okay, I can see
heel
that.
Bailey.
And to
it's
end,
just- I
to-
feel like there's just no rhyme or reason for it. Like she's kind of like being heel to be heel, and she's throwing darts at the wall. What's gonna work? What kind of heel thing can I do today that's gonna work? I'm gonna call people stupid idiots because that's what Chris Jericho
Yeah.
used to do. Or I'm
And
gonna be
that's
I'm gonna
fine.
I'm gonna say an obnoxious catchphrase like the Miz used to do, and
Ding
it's like
dong, hello.
it's
I
like
love it.
I don't know. It feels like there's no reason behind it, and so
Yeah.
I'm not
For her
feeling
to
it. I
remain
guess.
heel. Okay.
Well,
but
just for
with-
just.
On the same token, why would she just
Okay.
magically turn face again?
I'm not saying necessarily that she should turn face. I'm just saying that the way that she's going about it right now, I'm not a fan of. I feel like it doesn't make sense.
Well, that's fair.
Like, if she could find something that motivates her
Oh no, I'm being punished.
heelness, then that would make sense. I know you want to keep going because we're getting stuck on Bailey. I
No,
like Bayley.
Lana just redeemed the
I'm
goal
not
and it's still
liking this.
going on.
Huh? What was that?
Ilana redeemed a goal!
It's still in my ear. That is really long. It is really
Deserve
long.
this?
I do deserve it. I do. So for the main event, we had the Mysterios versus Alpha Academy. The Mysterios pick up the win, and that was SmackDown. Now, I really wanted to get to these questions, the question and answer portions. I figured this would be pretty fun to talk about with everybody, including chat, if chat wants to get involved as well. So, topics of discussion for today. Let's see how many questions I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So, this is more to learn about you guys as well. So, what do you guys believe is the biggest missed opportunity in wrestling history? Who or what?
Okay. Maybe.
Go ahead. I'm gonna think about this one. You can go first.
Yeah, once I try to go for the answer, I feel like I'm gonna say something and then be like, no, wait, that was not it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I wish I had some prep time for this question. I know. Let's
I
take
wanted
this
to-
question and circle around to it.
I wanted
I love
to
you
kind of
both.
give you guys some room to really think about it and have like a quick answer. Because mine, I would say Nexus. Nexus is probably the biggest missed opportunity. All the talent that was there in that group, and they really got buried by one man. I think Nexus could have been something amazing. And to be honest, it was good in the beginning.
I agree with you on that. I
But-
could agree with you on that.
I would have loved to see Nexus go much further. I would have loved to see them beat John Cena and move past him and maybe have Wade Barrett with the championship, World Championship.
Okay. So what I'm gonna say, some people might disagree with, but I think that they waited too long to capitalize on Zack Ryder's popularity,
Okay.
and he got over on YouTube, and they tried to do something with it after they tried to kill it. They tried to do something with it because the people were not like letting it go, and he was getting they're like The Rock was doing a promo, and they were just chanting Zack Ryder at him. Who can you think of anything that anybody would ever chant over The Rock other than maybe CM Punk?
Yeah.
And so The Rock acknowledged it. He goes, "Yeah, I like that guy too." WWE should have capitalized on that, and they didn't. They're like, "Okay, we'll throw him in this little love story with Eve, and then he's gonna get beat up by Kane, and then we're gonna forget about him all over again." And then now look at them, like they're trying to be all over social media right now with all their different things. And Zack Ryder, well, to more of an extent, Matt Hardy was probably one of the first ones that really did it. But Zack Ryder's like the one that really kind of started WWE getting on YouTube and all this other stuff, and he got nothing for it. So I think Zack Ryder could have been up there as like a John, like, because he was super over. He's got a great look.
He got a one-day IC title reign for his efforts.
Yeah, he got a cool moment at WrestleMania, and he got to take a picture with Razor Ramon holding his IC title, because as a kid he got a picture with Razor Ramon holding Razor Ramon's IC title. So that's cool. But other than that, it's like they did him dirty, and they could have done so much more with him. His
When
shirts
did I
were
cut
flying
off?
off the shelf.
When did I cut out? Because
I don't
knew
recall
I did
you.
at one point.
I don't recall you cutting out.
I
Do
just thought
you
you were
what I
letting me
said.
talk, so
do you have an answer for the biggest missed opportunity in wrestling history? And chat, if you
Okay,
guys
so
want to
you
get
guys-
involved too, put it in, and
So
I'll
you guys
announce it as
didn't
well.
hear that. Okay, so I was saying that there was two that come to mind,
Okay.
and one being, you know what they did with Liv Morgan when she was first coming back, and she had those vignettes. I was very invested in that. I was wondering what they were going to do differently with her, and she came back during the stupid-ass Rusev wedding thing, and I did not enjoy that at all. Also,
oh yeah, I agree. I
they
like Liv.
missed the opportunity to give the Bray Wyatt that we all loved. I think it was universally like the follow the budget's Bray Wyatt. They missed the opportunity to let the Undertaker pass the torch to Bray Wyatt.
Man,
At
I am feeling
WrestleMania.
old with your
Oh, yeah.
answers.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
answers
Yeah,
are all
I
within the
agree.
past like 4 or 5 years. I feel really old right now
Well,
because
yeah,
another one that
because-
I
Those are those are the ones I can think of. I was not born.
the
Okay.
number 2 for me. I did have a second one that was very close to my first one. Was not giving us Undertaker versus Sting in 2001. Not being able to close that deal and be able to give that to us, both men in their prime in 2001.
In 2001, I was like a baby,
Yeah.
not even born yet. So
Even a couple years ago when they had Sting versus Triple H, that would have been better as Sting versus Undertaker.
I agree with that, but in
versus
2001,
Gates was awful.
both men in their early 30s, or one in its late 20s and one in the early 30s, that would have been amazing.
All right. Well, for my number 2, like I could go back to the early thousands too, and
Thanks,
this one's
Lana.
gonna sound biased again, but when they let go of Matt Hardy, and there was all that drama with the
Edge
the
and
love
Lita.
triangle
Yep.
between Ed Lita, and they brought him back to feud with Edge. Matt Hardy was super over, and the people were behind him, but they wanted to punish him. Even though they hired him back, they wanted to punish him. So they made him lose and took him away, and he, stayed on the mid card forever. They should have had him win over Edge. And honestly,
I agree.
he should have been. He should have got that main event spot instead of Edge. No,
Gravity says that the first Raw I attended was before Ty was born, and Grav, I agree with you. The first show I attended, we talked about this before we went on break, before you moved. My first show I attended was a WCW show, and he was definitely not born then.
Oh yeah.
And
my
still
first show
haven't
was a
even-
SmackDown.
Yeah.
My first
I
show was
haven't
a
even
SmackDown,
attended my first show yet.
and it was in, I want to say 99, because I was in the 8th grade.
Yeah, I was about 5 years old. It was probably 98 or 99. It was a WCW house show. Loved it. But anyway, moving on to my second question here for you guys. We're going to kind of stay, thank you, Will, for the host. Going on, and Will, feel free to answer these questions as well.
Hey, handsome.
Who is the biggest misused star in wrestling today, and what should they be doing right now? My sister went to a show with my dad and brought back an Austin 316 middle finger foam
Misused
thing. My mom
today?
was less than thrilled. Yes, most misused talent in wrestling today. Doesn't have to be WWE.
Today. Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I really want to say Ricochet, but another part of me really wants to go with Enzo Amore. So I'm kind of split between the two.
Ooh.
Ricochet
Enzo,
won for
huh?
the talent of his wrestling ability. Enzo for the promos. He is the best promo guy in this day and age. He still does it on his Instagram. He's so good every single time he touches a mic or just cuts a promo on anybody. The man is extremely talented in that affair. But Ricochet, I really wish that we could see his talent more on a regular basis. If you haven't seen much of Ricochet outside of WWE, go to YouTube, look up Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. You'll fall in love with his work.
All right. Grav says Shinsuke, and I can definitely get
I
on
agree
board
with
with
that.
that one, because when Shinsuke was so over, and they brought him onto SmackDown, and then they just kind of killed it, and I don't know why. Maybe it was because he dropped John Cena on his head.
He was getting punished for that.
That could definitely do it. That's
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. That's all I'll say is we'll
they're
see.
trying to use him now. And
Will says
on top of
Mustafa
Aleister
Ali.
Black,
I agree with that as well.
they're not
I
gonna
agree
get
with
away.
that too.
They're not gonna get away with just
Thank you, Thunderbird,
now
for the
giving
host.
Cesaro a push. I'm never gonna forgive them with taking so long to cash in on Cesaro.
Speaking of cash in, I see him winning
I
the
could
Money in the
definitely.
Bank.
Cesaro's up there for me too. One of the ones I would want to say is Dolph Ziggler, except I feel like Dolph Ziggler
Hi, my
is
wife.
just happy where he's at and doesn't care. But
Agreed.
I've been a big fan of Dolph Ziggler, and I think he should be higher up on the card and not losing every match.
Well, he is a tag team
And-
champion,
Yeah,
which
well,
is
yeah,
forgettable because he doesn't
he-
wrestle that much.
Well, he won with the zigzag, and we talked about this last week. Like that was like mind blowing to me that he won with his. That should not be mind blowing to you.
It shouldn't.
That a wrestler won with his own finisher. Like,
All right, so the next question, we're going to do this question really fast because Ty's not going to have an answer for it. What era of wrestling do you believe is the greatest era of wrestling? You can talk about the golden era, the attitude era, ruthless aggression, PG. You can talk about right now. Me personally, I'm going to say this day and age right now. For a few reasons. I do love 80s and 90s wrestling for the promos. I do not find their matches as entertaining as I find the matches today. I do like the high-flying nature. I do like just everything about this day and age in wrestling. I'm not even talking about just WWE. I'm talking about we have WWE. We have AEW, both on national television. We have New Japan, who has over 1 million people on their network. And then we also have Impact, which they're still getting 200,000 views every week, and their pay-per-views breach 300 to 400,000, which is still very good. But we have so many options. NWA, just everything is so good in wrestling right now. All the talent is so good. You don't have to be this big giant man to be a serious threat. You can be a small, fast guy like a Rey Mysterio or a Will Ospreay or a Kota Ibushi. I just love this day and age right now because are the promos as good? Depends on the person. But the wrestling itself, I absolutely love today's day and age of wrestling.
I agree with a lot of what you said. Like, right now is a really great time. Even if you just completely ignore that Raw and SmackDown exist.
Yeah.
Like, wrestling right now is so good. And honestly, Raw and SmackDown are probably what's bringing it down. I'm going to say... Oh, go ahead. While we're still on today's era, before I give my answer.
Because, I don't know. I think it's just Raw.
Grav said Vince got really excited with your big giant
Sometimes
man comment.
SmackDown can be really good.
He did.
I think it's just Raw that's doing really badly right now.
SmackDown's been good.
It's too long. It's 3 hours, and it's not even the best show of the two main roster brands. SmackDown with 3 hours, I feel like would be better because SmackDown actually gives good content and has a better roster than Raw. Sorry to tell you.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't like my answer because a lot of people say that the Attitude Era was the best era. I liked the time between 96 and 2000, which could be considered the Attitude Era, but not for the reasons most people do. I wasn't really into. Well, I mean, yeah, I like the female figure, but that's not the reason that I really like the Attitude Era. I wasn't really into like all the gross stuff or like, yeah, Mae Young giving birth to a hand was kind of funny, you know. But what I liked during that time, both from WCW, ECW,
I agree with that, Travis.
and WWF, is that the characters were so good at that time, and you could have so many favorites and so many people that you just couldn't wait to see, and you couldn't wait to hear them say their catchphrase, and you couldn't wait to see them do their finisher. And like, yeah, I have a lot of like favorites right now, but none of them are really, I don't feel that passionately about as I did back in like the 96. Yeah, he's getting there. And maybe it was because I was, you know, a kid at that time.
Yeah, I think
but it was
we all have that
like,
that feeling.
I would flip between Nitro and Raw, or I'd have my friend record one so I could watch the other one. And it wasn't even for, like, I really liked The Rock, but other than that, I wasn't really big on any of the main eventers from WCW or WWF.
No, it's
like,
the
I was
cruiserweight
into
divisions.
like the Hardy Boys. I would every time the New Age Outlaws come out, I would sing along with them. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know, and I would get so excited about that stuff. I'd like, you know, Al Snow coming out with his head, you know, or even like Disco Inferno coming out, and I would sit there and do disco and like a freaking idiot. But it was just the characters were so fun and so engaging, and that's what I loved about that time.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch the quality of the matches, yeah, maybe most of them weren't that good. And you go back and you watch
Hey, how
all
you
this,
doing?
you know, the exploitation of women's anatomy or dirty jokes or, you know, vomit or, you know, poop coming from the
Characters
ceiling or
were still
whatever.
characters,
Like, I
but
didn't
were
really
on
care
their
about
way.
that stuff. I loved, like, the Brood entrance. Like, that was so cool, you know? And Kane with the fire,
Yeah.
you know?
Will says
It was-
nowadays if a heel can legitimately piss me off and make me hate his character, I have a shit ton of respect for him. People like Ciampa in 2019, No Music Ciampa. They were so good. Yeah, Ciampa
And
was the
that's
best
what I
heel
really
of the
liked
year
about
at the
the
time.
Miz. That's what I really liked about the Miz is he legitimately made me hate him, and then it clicked to me that like, oh, that's what he wanted.
Yeah, he's doing his job. All right, so moving past this question, we're gonna go on to do you guys believe AEW can actually grow to become a bigger threat to WWE or actually be a threat in Vince's mind? Thoughts and feelings on, well, we'll skip that because we already talked about it. But do you guys believe that AEW can grow past this, say, 1.2 and actually make it to where they are having the same exact numbers as SmackDown at the 2 million mark, or maybe hit a 3 million mark, and actually just pry away at those diehard WWE fans that won't watch anything else? We all know who they are, that just downplay AEW because they're not WWE.
Go ahead, Ty.
Well, gonna throw me out here first. Well,
Well, I figured since you didn't really get an opportunity to answer the last question.
yeah. So,
Yeah, Kira said
I feel like
they kind of already are. They're stealing most
Yeah.
of their superstars. People already leaving to watch AEW. I get a very Attitude Era feel from AEW. And that's very true. You are starting to get people that are finally going over and saying, okay, let me give AEW a chance. And they watch a show and they're like, oh, these guys are really good.
yeah, but I feel like though, off of that, watching another company just to feel what you felt from WWE still isn't that company taking lead on WWE. Like they're still going to AEW to feel what they felt from WWE.
I disagree because I was a WCW fan. I wasn't a WWF fan. So my company did lose the war in that term of things. So I mean, I can see it if you're if you were a WWE fan back then, and I understand that you were a baby when all that was happening, but like back then, if you were a WWE fan, of course you're gonna stay at WWE at this point in time because there's another company coming up. But I feel like the WCW fans from back then are more inclined to give AEW a chance because of they
was a
weren't always
WCW
locked
fan.
in.
I was a WCW fan, and then I jumped shipped probably 2 years before WCW went under.
Get the F out.
It was around like 98, 99 because I turned over and that was like when the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian were doing the challenge, the 7-match challenge.
Yep.
Where they get the managerial services of what's her name? Well, it was Marlena, but it was Dustin Runnels' ex-wife. And they got the like money, but. And I think it was that one episode that they talk about where they spoiled the ending of Raw on Nitro, and then people ended up changing over to see it happen. I think I was one of those people. And
Gotcha.
then I started watching WWF more than WCW.
Kira said
But,
2 people I would love to see go to AEW are AJ Lee and CM Punk because I feel CM Punk would do that because he effing hates Vince. I'm pretty sure I can say the F word. But same time, he does MMA now. He actually retired from MMA. He retired after his last fight. He said he was not going to do another one. He is 0-2 in the UFC. He might do a Bellator or something, but he got destroyed in 2 fights against one really good guy and one very mediocre guy.
It would take a really, really long time to even make it possible for AEW to be the same as WWE.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it is because of time. You know, if you come out with a brand new cola today, like how long do you think it's gonna be before it's equivalent to Coca-Cola and Pepsi? Like, and you can look at like you can even compare it to maybe like DreamWorks. Like DreamWorks makes great cartoons, but they're never gonna be Disney because Disney is Disney.
Yeah.
You
Will
know?
said he disagrees. If Punk started wrestling again, he'd become everything he swore to destroy. CM Punk would be The Rock in 2011, and that would make him a massive hypocrite. It really would.
He's not wrong.
But
not wrong.
there is rumors that CM Punk did do a run-in in a match in an indie scene
with the
in
mask on?
Chicago with a mask on. It was clearly CM Punk. So he has returned. Just he hasn't returned as himself, really. I know it's kind of a
I
one-off.
feel like if I was like on one of those like 90-day no compete clauses,
Yeah.
I would totally do something like that, and I'd like wear a mask and change my name and be like, you can't prove that it was me, even though it's like all the same tattoos and stuff.
Yeah.
Gravity said AEW
Well-
needs to grow their own talent, though, and not rely on former WWE talent. CM Punk is
Well,
way
they are.
past his time for a proper return. It'd be exciting at first, but lose its flavor as fast as zebra striped gum.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But AEW
is
is doing
growing their own
very
talent.
good with growing their own talent. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of their big
But
guys are
you need
homegrown.
established talent to help them grow.
Exactly.
Otherwise you're just watching some indie show of a bunch of people you've never heard of.
High five
You need
on
the,
that one, Dev.
the name people, and that's like, and you could use the same instance with TNA. TNA did the same thing when they first came out. They had half the roster was full of people you didn't know, like AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels and James Storm, and it was full of old WCW and WWF guys. And
Yeah, I mean, this has been happening for a
eventually,
long, long
AJ
time.
Styles became like the face of TNA for the longest time.
Yeah, this has
And
been
so now,
happening for...
one of their issues right now in Impact is they don't really have any big names.
Yeah.
Like their champion is Rich Swann. Like,
Speaking
and
of...
they've got Zack Ryder and Brian Myers, and like that's really about it. And the rest of it, like, is just people that nobody knows, and so nobody watches Impact. You have to have that mix to grow those talent. You can't like grow all your, otherwise they're all just gonna stay unknown. You need to bring in the eyes with people that are established. And so, like, if the main event was just full of like Chris Jericho versus Christian, versus John Moxley, then yeah, I'd be a little pissed. But no, they mix it up. Cody is fighting Darby Allin. Like,
and they do a
Chris-
really good job with what WCW didn't do back in the day is they had old guys versus old guys and new
Exactly.
guys against new guys. What AEW is doing very, very well is having old guys with young guys because it elevates both. It doesn't elevate just
Exactly.
one. So if you look at Chris Jericho, he is trying to put over MJF, which is elevating both of them massively because they are both
Exactly.
doing very, very well right now. And it gives MJF that bump of, hey, this is a GOAT. This is one of the greatest of all time, and I'm getting this rub off of him when he believes he's the best in his career.
and teaming up with what's his name, Sammy Guevara. That's Sammy Guevara's getting
Yep, he's getting that
popular
rub.
name. Now.
Yep.
And it's not like, yeah, he got Jake Hager in there, but that's about it. Everybody else was like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
But now we know who these guys are because they've been hanging out with Chris Jericho this whole time.
Yep. All right, so moving on from that question. This question's kind of obvious as an answer, but we're going to branch off of it.
17.
So, what's wrong with the tag team division right now in WWE, and what can they do to fix this problem? One, the tag team division is bad because they break up all of their tag teams and don't push any of them. What they can do to fix it is stop breaking up these tag teams and, actually have a good tag team division, put on good matches like NXT and AEW, and move forward from there.
Yeah. But
Okay.
as long as they use tag teams as a vehicle to get one person over, like, it's always going to be like that.
But it's rough when you have guys that come into the scene as tag teams. So if we look, let's look back. Let's look at Heavy Machinery. Or we can look back and we can say Sanity. Or what's another big one that they broke up? Enzo and Cass. I mean, Enzo and Cass never got a title in NXT or AEW. Or NXT or WWE. So, I mean, just breaking up these tag teams randomly, just to get rid of them, too. They're not even doing it. Like, what is Otis doing right now besides in a tag team again
Gable.
with Chad
They
Gable,
should've never broke him up.
who is
Sometimes
another
you just have
broken
to-
up tag
to-
team?
To
'Cause that's
understand
American
that
Alpha.
Some teams should just stay teams.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to get a single star out of every single tag team. Just keep some teams. Like, there are some teams where, yeah, breaking up, you're going to get a star. Yeah, they broke up the Rockers, and we got Shawn Michaels. And then Marty Jannetty faded into, somewhere. But it's like, okay, and I can see the popularity of the Hardy Boys, yet you could make 2 single stars out of them. But it's like, unless you can make 2 single stars out of the tag team, why are you breaking them up? You can look at, like the Dudley Boys. They broke up the Dudley Boys back in the day. Why? What were they ever going to do with Devon? What were they ever going to do with Bubba Ray? Absolutely nothing. They should have kept them together forever.
What I don't understand is that do they think they can't make 2 separate stars and keep them together? Like
Bully Ray would never do that.
See, the only time that works is when it's by accident, like with the New Day. Yeah, you could have Kofi and Big E both be single stars. They'll probably never let Xavier Woods do the same thing that they're letting Big E and Kofi do.
That's not fair. I like Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
I like Xavier Woods too. I stole his finisher. It's my signature, the honor roll, aka it's morphin' time.
But what I think they can do to fix the problem that they have now is that, especially in the women's division, we're seeing these random makeshift tag teams.
Exactly.
As people call them. But I feel like, 1 second, loud ass car driving by. But I feel like they could have worked if only they gave us a smidge of a reason why they just randomly started teaming up.
Yeah.
Just like some reason to put them together, a common goal.
Some storyline reason.
Yeah, a common enemy, something.
Kira is saying in chat, yeah, back when Devon became a priest. You know who benefited from Devon and Bubba Ray breaking up?
Bubba.
Batista. They got Batista over.
Well, Bully Ray.
Bubba Ray and Devon broke up.
Bully got
Batista
over
became
himself.
Devon's lackey, and then Batista became a single star.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bully Ray got over going to Impact. That's what got him over.
I feel like it's really unfair to the superstars that are getting slapped in these tag teams that they're not giving them a bit of a reason why they're getting put in the tag team.
Like
the Alpha
there's Academy.
Yeah, the Alpha Academy with Gable and Otis. Why?
And Daniel Bryan for a minute.
Yeah, why? Why is this happening?
Yeah, what I would have rather had Heavy Machinery and American Alpha. And you know what?
Right.
Okay, so what's his name can't wrestle anymore. Okay, cool, whatever. But like we could have kept Heavy Machinery. They were getting over. People liked them.
Yeah. People liked Tucker too for a while because he was sticking up for Otis.
Tucky.
So,
but if you look at Tucker and you look at Otis, are these 2 guys somebody that Vince McMahon is going to push as a singles wrestler? Absolutely not. So why are you breaking up a tag team that people like?
They don't have a reason. And I thought it was, like, everyone thought it was fake when they broke up the Hurt Business because of how dumb of an idea it was. Like, they were such a money tag team, and then they faction, and then they broke them up for no good reason.
Yeah.
They
And
didn't
see,
make
all of those
stars out of
guys can have their moment, and they either have or have had moment in singles wrestlers, and they could all be fine individually if they're used properly. But Hurt Business was so good. Why aren't you capitalizing on it? They should have had a bunch of Hurt Business T-shirts. I would have bought one. You know,
I wanted to buy one.
Yeah, like now Undisputed Era breaking up. But yeah, they were together like 4 years. They had a good run. Okay, now time to move on. But Hurt Business didn't even have a whole year.
It's ridiculous. And the thing is like usually when they break people up, they create stars out of the stables, like single stars. But they're burying the 2 former members of the Hurt Business. They didn't need to kick those 2 members out to boost Bobby Lashley because he was already boosted into the main event before they broke up. So it's really frustrating to me trying to understand why this happened.
Yeah.
Because
and so
it
a
doesn't
lot of
make
these
sense.
teams, especially with like the women's tag teams, is they come together and one of the tag team members kind of adopts the other person's gimmick or whatever. But it's like if you really want these tag teams to work, they have to come up with like a new gimmick. And that's the thing is these tag teams don't have gimmicks. Like the Riot Squad, it works. They were the Riot Squad before, you know. But and even then, that's Liv dropping her gimmick to go back to Ruby Riot's gimmick. You know.
It's so
Yeah.
And even
frustrating
then,
that
they're
they
not
didn't
gonna do
give
much
them
with
the
them.
titles. It's so
Yeah.
irritating.
Yeah,
Oh
but the
my God.
Iconics had a great gimmick, and they're like, let's separate them, do nothing with them, and then fire them.
Fire 'em. Jesus Christ.
Asuka and Kairi Sane were a great combo, but they were great single stars before that.
Yeah,
Great single
exactly.
star. And I loved Asuka
I
and
didn't
Kyrie
really like
together.
them as a combo, to be honest. I
I
didn't like
did.
them together. I felt
They
like,
looked like they were having fun
okay,
together.
WWE, can we stop just sticking all the races together? Like, okay, you're two Asian chicks, you're a tag team. Okay, you're two black dudes, you're a tag team. Like, okay, like, a black dude and a white
Digging in
dude can
right
be a
now.
tag team. An Asian chick and a Samoan chick can be a tag team. You don't have to, like, keep the tag teams, like, in a box of
One
race.
race. Well, I guess it was easier for them to name Asuka and Kyrie the Kabuki Warriors if they were the same race. But
Well, the Kabuki thing is Asuka's gimmick. It has nothing to do with
Yeah.
Kairi. Kairi's
it doesn't,
Kairi's a
'cause
pirate
Kyrie's
princess.
A pirate. So,
Yeah, if they were the Kabuki pirates, then okay, but
look, I tried.
there's there's too many.
That's
First, there's
right.
way too many warriors. There's way too many warriors. There's the warrior. There's the ultimate warrior. There's the Kabuki warriors. There's the rainbow-haired warrior. Like, okay, can we stop with the warriors? And can we change them to like? There's other ways to say somebody battles. Like battlers, soldiers, fighters,
The Viking
like
experience.
the Viking experience.
Oh God.
Don't-
Shayna Baszler should have been Raw
question.
champ 3 times
Right?
already.
Ooh, don't get me
Uh,
started on name changing
Ew,
Great
3
names, like-
times.
like War Raiders.
Shayna Baszler is very, very good.
Baszler should have been champ when she emptied out that damn elimination chamber. She buried
yeah.
like 5 women for no reason.
See,
no,
and I was
no-
thinking, what would be a cool women's stable if you got Shayna Baszler, who's the Queen of Spades. You could get Natalya Neidhart. You could call her the Queen of Hearts. Okay, you've got Charlotte Flair, and her jacket is full of diamonds. She could be the Queen of Diamonds. And then you had what's her name? God, what's her name? I'm blanking on names. I always do this. She's the one that had the sommelier before he joined Nia Jax. What's her face?
Carmella.
Yeah, Carmella. She used to be like a clubbing type girl. She could have been the queen of clubs.
She's
and they
the
could've-
queen of Staten
right?
Island.
Oh yeah, she was the
Oh,
queen of Staten
no.
Island too. But you know, she liked to dance in clubs. She could have been the queen of clubs, and you would have the queen
So
of
what
hearts,
do
the
they
queen of
do?
diamonds, the queen of
What
clubs,
did
the
they
queen of
call?
spades.
Full House.
No,
What?
that Full House is 3 of a kind and 2 of a kind. They'd be 4 of a kind.
Okay.
Or the aces or something. I don't
We
know.
had, we had aces
Well, I
and
guess
eights
they're
already.
queens.
The
They're
queen.
queens. They're queens, right? So
Yeah,
Poker face.
we had aces and
poker
eights
face.
already.
Yeah, poker face, poker
Oh God,
face.
this is going
Oh,
off
no,
the
no,
rails.
Sorry,
You're good.
the Ace Strikers. No, the Ace Warriors.
That
the Ace
used to be my
Warriors.
Taz name, bro. Ace Striker.
Full
I'm
deck.
dead.
Ooh, Batman says full deck. That's kind of a. There's a little
Full
innuendo
deck.
House
there,
of
maybe.
Cards.
All right,
Oh
so
my God.
I have one more question.
Cards.
If you were to get a match between 2 people in different companies right now, what match would you like to see?
Orange
Between-
Cassidy versus R-Truth.
Orange Cassidy versus R-Truth? I'm actually kind of for that. Will says Seth Rollins versus Will Ospreay. I agree to a point. Yes, I would love to see that match because of their Twitter battle. Seth Rollins calling Will Ospreay little guy and saying, we already have one of you here, and he just won the U.S. Championship. That was Ricochet. Look where he is now.
El Pinta Del Nero versus Ricochet.
Okay, can I make like a makeshift team for this?
Sure.
I know we just complained about makeshift teams, but I would love to see Death Triangle.
Okay.
And this, I mean, Neville, Pac was in WWE. Death Triangle versus Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan.
That'd be a hell of a match. That'd be very chaotic, in a sense. It'd be very good though.
Those are my 3 WWE workhorses that I really like.
Chris Hero
And
versus
you could,
Cesaro.
you know,
We've seen that.
You
though.
could swap out, maybe in a year or 2, you could swap out Daniel Bryan for
Omega
Cameron
versus
Grimes.
Rollins. Omega versus Rollins would be my go-to.
Chris Hero versus Cesaro.
Or if we could get a triple threat between Omega, Rollins, and Will Ospreay.
Used to be tag teams.
Sasha Banks versus Hikaru Shida.
Ooh.
Okay,
Yes.
that's not bad.
The boss.
Yeah, Gravity said Omega versus Rollins. I would love to see that if we add Will Ospreay to the mix, make it a triple threat. Kind of like let's call that like a Survivor Series. NJPW versus AEW versus WWE.
Britt
I would
Baker
love
versus
that.
Bailey. That would be a good one.
It's the role model versus the role model.
Yep, the
model.
role model.
And the best part is both of them got their gimmicks from Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
And they both are doing it very well. I would love to see Britt Baker versus Bailey.
That'd be a good one.
Ooh, Bianca Belair versus what's her name?
The tall girl.
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill.
No, not Jade Cargill. That would be a good match though.
That would.
Bianca Belair versus Nyla Rose.
Ooh,
Okay.
interesting.
I would like to see it, and I would like to see it expeditiously.
I don't know.
Right
I
now.
feel like Nyla Rose is just a crisper, slightly shorter Nia Jax. So I don't know that we'd see anything very new
I
that we
don't
haven't
like
seen between
Nia
Bianca
Jax,
Belair and Nia
so,
Jax.
Abaddon versus Xia Li. I'd like to see that.
Abbott.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I was saying people want to see the Fiend versus. This isn't a different company, but they were wanting to see the Fiend versus Karrion Kross. That's a booking nightmare.
Yeah, it really is.
So
I mean, if we were gonna say, I'm blanking on his name. The guy
Did you
from
hate when you get on
the-
here and you just blank on names?
the guy from Impact. He just retired. Why am I blanking? He was like a mix between Kane and Mankind, sort of.
Abyss?
Abyss versus Fiend would be.
Abyss works
match.
backstage in WWE.
He does. He does.
Joseph Park.
And then-
Abyss in his prime when he was like skinnier and muscular before he kind of let himself go.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio versus Rey Fenix would be amazing. Take all my money for that match. All of it.
I mean, well then that just goes back to what I said last week about Phoenix versus Prince Puma.
Rey
aka
Fenix
Ricochet.
is so good. Rey Fenix he might be the best cruiserweight in the world. He's won the top high flyer of the year award 5 years in a row almost. I want to say it was 4 years in a row.
Aleister Black versus Darby Allin.
Mr. Brody Lee versus
Ooh,
cult
that'd be
leader
good.
Bray Wyatt.
Oh, I've got another one.
I'm for that.
The Murder Hawk versus Corbin.
Murder Hawk versus Corbin.
Like
Okay.
they're both pretty good for bigger guys. I think they could put on a pretty decent match.
All right, so
Lee versus Luchasaurus.
Oh, I love Luchasaurus.
The-
Luchasaurus, yeah.
the last question that I have is if you could take anybody from another company and put them in WWE for a world title run, who would it be?
Ooh.
Mine's easy. Mine's Kenny Omega. I want him to continue this collection of titles. Unfortunately, we're
I
not
feel like
going to
that's an
make it.
obvious answer.
Yeah, we're not going to make it to the end of the show by the time he wins the Impact World Championship. I'm just going to call it now and say that it's already happened. Kenny Omega's winning that title. But I would
DQ
like him
finish.
to
Nobody
get...
wins the title.
I would... Possibly. That's the only way you have Kenny Omega not win it. But then
You're
again,
That
Kenny
matchup
Omega-
would probably be interesting, but might be boring.
Kenny
Hobbs
Omega...
versus Titus.
currently is the AEW champion. He is the AAA world champion. He's been the AAA world champion for 2 years now, which AAA is still going. So that's a big deal.
Okay. So for plant them into WWE for a world title run. I have two answers. I have an unrealistic one that's more based on my bias, and then I have a realistic one. My unrealistic one would of course be Matt Hardy, because I think Matt Hardy, it's a shame that he never got a world title run, unless you count ECW, which I don't really. He really should have had that opportunity.
But you would take the Matt Hardy from today and have him go over to win the world title?
No, honestly, I prefer, like, not even the delete gimmick, but his old, maybe the version 1 gimmick, or just his old singles run, like after the Hardy Boys broke up, where he was just Matt Hardy, you know. But maybe the V1 gimmick. Maybe the V1 gimmick. But realistically, that's never
Most
not
people
gonna happen.
Yeah, most people are saying Omega in chat.
I want to see
I mean, it's the
Darby
obvious
Allin
one.
in WWE.
Who?
Darby
Darby.
Allin.
Darby Allin?
Yeah.
I
That
see
would
him.
be cool.
I
I
wanna
see him getting
break a skateboard
buried.
over someone's back.
I see him getting buried as soon as he hits the main roster.
Yeah.
Buried hard.
Bad.
He's a small guy, really skinny. He's getting buried as soon as he touches main roster. Oh my god.
Okay, then how about someone that Vince McMahon would probably actually invest in based off looks?
He's gonna
And
be.
I'd say Powerhouse Hobbs versus Bobby Lashley for
So
the WWE.
you know Goro from Mortal Kombat. So this isn't a spoiler at all. But Goro, as we know, he has the forearms and he rips people in half. I see Braun. I just saw in my head Braun Strowman picking up Darby Allin and just pulling him in two, like just getting buried, absolutely buried. It would be ridiculous.
But long ways right down the middle, because
Oh
half
my
of him is
God.
like painted like a skeleton, so it'd have to be like split right down the middle.
What an image I have in my head right now. Oh my god. You could
like maybe more realistically, we could go back to the Murder Hawk, who was in WWE, or Luchasaurus, who also was in WWE. But both of them have the look, and they might give him another chance.
Will just said that Aubrey Edwards and Earl Hebner are going to be officiating Omega vs. Swan. I did see Aubrey Edwards. I did not know about.
Ooh.
But I love that because Aubrey Edwards' nickname before she got to AEW was Girl Hebner.
Girl Hebner.
So now she's meeting her other half.
I like Aubrey Edwards.
But yeah, I mean Omega's gonna win that match. There most likely is gonna be some shady shit. Probably a DQ and then a restart by Don Callis because he has that power in AEW, and then Kenny Omega's gonna win.
Yeah, Matt Hardy won't die gimmick would work too.
Yeah.
Graph.
Will, did you have Ty? Did you have an answer?
An answer to what?
You said Darby Allin.
Oh yeah, he did say
Yeah.
Darby Allin. Okay.
Darby, and you guys said he would get ripped in half.
He would
like
get
a cinnamon
absolutely-
pull apart.
He would get destroyed.
I didn't say he would get ripped in half. I just suggested that if Braun ripped him in half, he should do it long.
Kira did ask a question a little bit earlier.
I'm confused though.
So Kira's
They're
question.
all small guys making it somewhere in WWE.
Kira, hey. Okay, Kira had this question. It passed. It passed on the chat, but I remember what it said. She said she had a question of if we could bring back one person, dead or alive, to WWE to wrestle today, who would it be?
Macho Man Randy Savage. My all-time favorite.
I hate your guts.
I love Macho Man. That would be my pick. Either Macho Man or like real
Owen Hart.
or Owen Hart
Okay,
would be really good.
Bring back Foley.
Bring back Foley. Have
Yes.
Foley do a death match with Moxley.
Foley's still alive, buddy.
No, she said dead or alive.
No, dead or alive.
You're right. My bad.
Brody Lee. Will says Brody
I
Lee
automatically went
or
to dead.
Owen or Benoit. Benoit
Yeah, I
would
was-
not be able to come back for no reason.
I was gonna say, if bringing him back to life undid what he did over that weekend,
yeah, then
yeah, totally.
But that is all we have. We're running late on time. I do have one announcement.
Time is just a construct.
Time will. Oh, Bat said British Bulldog. I love British Bulldog. I would love that as well.
I thought about British Bulldog.
Will said forgot he killed his family for a second. That is, yeah, it happens. Lana said Eddie Guerrero. I would love to see that as well.
Oh yeah, Eddie. I would love to see Eddie versus Macho Man. I feel like that would have been a good match.
Yeah. So that is all the time we have.
Wait.
I do have what?
Sean Hickenbottom.
Oh, I do have a big announcement for everyone
Sean
that is here.
Hickenbottom.
I have a big announcement for everybody here. So we have been looking into getting sponsors, which we have been successful as of this weekend. I did receive an email from Raise Energy. We are an official partner. We will have a creator code, so we will push that forward. But we are officially sponsored by Raise Energy, which you can buy at GNC or the Vitamin Shop, as well as online with our new creator codes. So I'm going to just show off a couple things that they went ahead and sent me. We got a nice t-shirt here. We are a part of the Raise Rebellion now. So there is
We're
that.
just still singing the ring there, I think.
Boop, boop, boop. Huh?
There. Okay, you're showing it.
Yeah.
I'm watching on a delay. I guess delayed, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, so we are now sponsored by Raise Energy. They have sent the t-shirt. They have sent a knapsack. A bunch of stickers for stuffs. What they do have that I do really
cool,
like. So they do have pre-workout as well. I have not tried the pre-workout yet. When I get back to the gyms, I will. I just don't like wearing a mask in gyms, to be honest with you. So I don't go to the gym again until that's hopefully lifted in the future.
I don't even like wearing a shirt when I work out. So
That's very true as well. As well as that, they have a really good sleep formula that I did try out called Hypersleep. And I don't know if that's going to clear up, but it's called Hypersleep. It is a powder. It is very, very good. You can put Raise on your attire. What we get from Raise is we are going to be getting put on kind of like a creator code basis with them. So we are going to get a creator code through them, and any purchases used with our creator code, we will get a kickback from that. So that would be
Will, I'm pretty sure we
amazing.
all know that you don't like wearing a shirt in general.
And they sent me a lot of different flavors of Raise Energy. So we have strawberry colada. We have voodoo. We have
What does voodoo taste like?
sour gummy worms. Let's see. Voodoo
Ooh, that sounds good.
is a limited edition. It's a Halloween edition, it looks like. But it doesn't say what the flavor is on it. I will try it and I will let you know. The good thing about Raise
It's
is
just a
that
joke.
they have electrolytes in them. So they are extremely good and they're not completely terrible for you, like some of the
Yeah.
other energy drinks out there.
It's just a joke. They're like,
There's-
voodoo flavored. What does voodoo taste like?
I am excited to see what it is. They have guava mango that they sent. They have Baja lime that they sent.
Nice.
They have Galaxy Burst.
Live.
And then
Ooh, Galaxy.
Apollo, which
Galaxy
is American
Galaxy.
flag themed.
Yeah. I don't even care what that tastes like.
All of these have 0 sugar.
Oh, nice.
And they are actually pretty good for you. They are hydrating. They help with your focus, your recovery, energy, stamina, and hydration. Like I said, not only do they have the energy
Right,
drinks,
Lana?
but the pre-workout, if you're interested in that, as well as the sleep formula, which is very good. I typically can't fall asleep without melatonin. I did take that, the hyper sleep, and it put me to sleep with a really good sleep. I didn't wake up through the night or anything like that. So yeah.
Alright, well, cheers and dilly dilly for us all becoming sellouts. Woo!
Yeah, so
You
now
have
we officially have a sponsor, DKA redeeming Dilly Dilly. Why is it always energy drinks and never like pasta or cookies? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say. Stay tuned. I have been looking at some other companies as well.
How
And
about DiGiorno? Sponsor us, DiGiorno.
we are not that big to be.
DiGiorno.
I'm very surprised that we
Just
we
not
got.
Papa John's.
I'm very surprised that we were able to get sponsored by Raise, and Raise was very open to it. Because Raise is a big company out there, and there's some smaller companies that don't want to do sponsorships. So with a company like Raise actually seeing us and wanting us to be a part of them, that actually means a lot to us. So we are going to have that
pretty cool.
creator code. We are going to be posting that creator code if you're on Twitch on PC, it would be down below. As well as we'll have it on our rotating ad banner up here. But that will be set up here shortly.
I have a question that probably everybody else already knows the answer to but me.
Okay.
What's a creator code?
So creator code is a discount code basically. So if you buy on their website, you can put in the discount code our specific code, which I do not know what it's going to be yet, but
It's
I
for
would hope.
content creators.
Yeah, I would hope that it would be like Dose of Nerd or Nerd Acumen or something like that. But we'll see what they end up giving us.
You're gonna
But
throw
yeah.
that logo on the side of the NAW ring now?
We could do that. I mean, that's all up to Travis as well. Me, Travis, Locke, and Trevor. We've been talking about specific things here and there, so we're gonna try to make DNA move forward. And you know, Lana is their cookies. I have been looking at a company that does have cookies.
The
I don't know how good the
NAW
cookies
pay-per-view.
It's the Ahoy.
Raise to the finish.
So yeah, big things in the pipeline. Raise is just the start. There is other companies that
Sweet.
we've been in contact with, but Raise is the biggest one right now, as they are sold in every GNC and every vitamin shop. So that's a very, very big deal for us, and I highly suggest you try it out. And like I said, we do get a 15% kickback on it, so it'll help us out as well.
Good job, buddy.
Cody, you said that sleep powder works. Yes, it is called Hyper Sleep. It does work. It works very, very well.
He's gonna use that as his new finisher. He's gonna put you like in a sleeper hold and stick some
Call
of
it-
that raised
call it
sleep
the
powder
hyper
in
sleep?
your mouth. And yep, put that raised sleep powder in your mouth, and then you pass out, and that's how you win matches.
I like it. But yes, we are a part of the Raise Rebellion. That is what we are called, the Raise Rebellion.
Raise Rebellion. I like it.
So, like I said, we will get the creator code. You guys will know that as soon as we get it. But I was excited to share that news with you guys that we are officially sponsored by a fairly well-known company. Mandible Claw with a raise-coated glove. I like
Exactly.
it. MXG with the hypersleep, hashtag
Right.
ad, hashtag sponsored. I like the sound of
Right.
that.
Slyco does the lullaby. Maybe his claw is full of hyper sleep too.
True. But like I said, it is almost 10 o'clock. We are almost at that 2-hour mark. So any final words, DKA? Any final words, Ty?
Yeah, I actually don't need that hyper sleep because I just have clips of Justice Royale matches that help me fall asleep really fast.
Understandable.
Wow. That's
They get you so excited that you pass out. We get it.
I also like listening to white noise, as in DKA's promos as of late.
Oh, got him. Got him.
Ouch! Hey, I'm not white. I'm glow in the dark.
Tomorrow I will be. Tomorrow I will be testing out before the stream. The plan is for me to stream GTA RP. I will be testing that beforehand as the server is new and it's been having rendering issues. So the map won't render in correctly all the time. But I'm going to test it out a little bit before the stream so we can go ahead and make sure that everything's good to go, because I don't want me to stream the RP and it just not be perfect. Batman, what server am I on? I'm on Atlas RP. It's been up for 2 weeks now. I've been there since day 2 of it. But yeah, it's just having some rendering issues every now and then. Yesterday was really good when I played it, but I never know for sure if I'm going to have a good experience or a bad experience with the rendering. So I will test that just before the stream. I'll probably hop on at 6 or something just to test it out. Then I'll be able to go live.
I just want to say real quick one more thing before you finish up, that a lot of people were probably scared to have the 3 of us together on one stream. But
it was
I
a
feel
secret.
like we did a pretty good job of keeping the sexual tension down, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time all 3 of us have been on Discord together talking. So, cool. No Pixel is a big queue. Yeah, No Pixel is big. Are they whitelist? Because some whitelists are kind of hard to get into. I don't know how hard they are to get into. I was on another server that is big, but I would be in a queue for 15, 20 minutes before I could even get in. Me and Devin killed a bunch of people today in Among Us. Nice.
Yep.
But yeah, some are for the VIPs. Yeah. But yeah, that is all we have today. Like I said, tomorrow, most likely GTA RP. If that can't work, I'm going to try to talk to Ty and see if we can run some Outriders tomorrow, possibly.
What's Outriders?
I would not be opposed to that at all.
Outriders is a co-op game on Xbox Game Pass for free right now. It is a newer game.
Ooh.
It's a mix
I have
between
Game
like
Pass.
Borderlands and Gears of War, sort of.
Ooh, that sounds fun. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a looter shooter with kind of like Gears of War type controls.
I like Gears of War.
But it's a very good game. We enjoyed playing that. So I wouldn't mind playing that if the RP's down. Outriders is a new game, so I'm sure you guys would love to see it as well. It's only been out for a couple weeks, so
Yeah. Also, we're really good at it. So.
we are really good at it. We've been killing it.
All right, so what do you mean is I got to get some practice in before you let me play with you. Got it.
Yeah, I mean just
Is it 3
get
players?
on and
Is it more than 2 players?
yes, we can
That would be
have
fun.
we can have more than 2 players in a lobby. So
I'm gonna download it tonight.
we just do missions together, kind of like you would do in Borderlands.
Gotcha.
So, like I said, RP tomorrow. If that's not working, it's going to be Outriders. And then Tuesday, Travis, do you have a topic for your Tuesday stream? Or is that when you're doing Mario? I believe that's when you're doing Mario, the review for Mario.
Oh yeah, Mario movie. I'm pretty sure that is Tuesday.
Yeah. And then year 2000 in gaming. Okay, so he's doing that at a later time. Okay. So
Oh, that's right.
Wednesday
Oh.
is my show for NAW. If you were in chat tonight, thank you. You will be rewarded. If you were on In My Ears, you will also be rewarded even further. So stay tuned for that. Thursday, I believe, Ty, is that your pay-per-view?
Thursday is indeed my pay-per-view, yeah.
So Ty has another show this Thursday, so it's going to be back-to-back, me, then him. So you're going to have Justice Royale this week, and, Devin can fall asleep.
I've been needing some good sleep. Oh,
Yeah.
Isn't this Tuesday, the year 2000 in gaming? Isn't that also
Yes.
the big giveaway night too?
Yes, it is. They are doing the giveaway during the year 2000 stream. Lots of giveaways. I believe that. How many are we going to be doing? Locksteady got it. Sorry, my stream is bugged. Oh, you're good. You're good. I knew it was one of the two.
Hi,
They're,
Muller.
do-
But-
they're doing the big system. Either you get a system or you
Yep,
get
they'll be doing the console.
title.
Yep, they'll be doing
Or,
that as well
I
as
think they still
next
have
month's
a special edition game. I can't remember what the game was.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
And then also going to be pulling for GM shows as well, since we did fill that up. And then a shit ton of strands, like Will said.
Strands. Yep.
So, We have been rambling for a minute between Rays and what's going on for the next week. But I'll be doing it again tomorrow. So I will see you all tomorrow, I hope. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's continue to grow to the moon. Hit it.
To
Dev.
the moon.
See ya.
The following announcement has been paid for by the